I feel attacked by the way the writers are attacking Riley. This girl is going through it in each and every way, and I'm not here for it at all. Let her be happy. Knock, knock, hello, writers, or whoever came up with this nonsense of having Riley going through it. I'm gonna need y'all to fix it and let her be happy, because this don't make no sense. But hey y'all, what's up? I'm Ashley. Thank you for watching this video. Today we're going to be talking about Generation, episodes 14 and 15. Don't forget to like this video. If you like it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And with that being said, let's get right to it. We're going to start off with episode 14 and it focused on Riley. I loved that we got a Riley episode. I just didn't love what was going on in the episode, even though the episode was pretty good. So when the episode first came on, we saw Riley looking kind of stressed. And I said, girl, why are you looking so stressed for? And then right after that, her mom came walking in the door and I said, oh no, this is not going to be good. And then Riley's like, I just came here to get a few things because, you know, she's staying at Greta's house. And then she was like, I need to get to school. And then that's when her mom started rambling about, you know, people need this, people need that. What need is more important? What about my needs? And all that kind of stuff. And then we see Riley talking about, she was like, what do you think about Reno? And her mom, you know, was about to answer her. And then it cuts to something else. And then we saw Riley looking very upset and stressed. And I said, what'd she say? We don't know what's going on at this point. We don't know what she's talking about when she asked her about Reno, and we could tell that it wasn't good. I'm about to tell y'all what her mom's answer was in a minute, but we just gonna keep on going. So after she left the house and she didn't like her mom's answer, we saw her walking down the street all mad. She got on this bus and went to the beach. She was supposed to be in school, but she went to the beach instead. Then we see her at a car wash, which is weird because she doesn't have a car. And then she's checking out this car, and the owner of the car was like, she's a beauty, isn't she? And Riley was like, why does it have to be a she? And the guy is like, the owner of the car was like, because she's fun and sassy. She said, you like fun and sassy, with a little smirk on her face. And he actually let her drive the car, and this girl was driving this car like a crazy woman, okay? The guy was shook. I would have been shook if I was in the car. And then she drove herself to school, actually. And that's when she walks up to Ariana, Naomi, and Delilah, and Greta, and we see her asking Greta, has she seen Chester? And Greta's like, no, he's all wrapped up with a bow. And like typical Ariana, she's complaining about something, about not wanting to go to an after party at someone's house. And that's when Riley was like, y'all can have it at my house. My dad and his little girlfriend is gonna be in Reno, and my mom is having parties with divorced people or whatever, so I just gotta get rid of her. And Ariana was like, oh my god, yes, thank you. And I'm like, girl, shut up. And then that's when Greta looked at Riley and she was like, are you sure about this? Like, you really want to do this? And Riley was like, why not? And I was over here thinking like, Greta, I'm like, that's weird. But at the same time, while all of this is happening, we see that Riley is hearing things like an echo, like she's zoning out or something. Even when she's talking to Sam, the counselor, he was noticing that she was zoning out. She told him that she wasn't able to sleep. She was up all night. She also told Greta this too. And he was like, why weren't you able to sleep? And she told him that she's doing a 24-hour project where she takes pictures every hour. And that is a real thing. It is an actual school project. But he had to let her know that he does know that she missed another class today. And since that wasn't her first time, she's been skipping a lot of school lately and missing a lot of tests and whatnot. So he told her that he had to call her mom. And he told her that her mom let him know that she's been staying at Greta's house. And so Sam goes on to say, so in guidance counselor school, they teach you to pay attention to red flags, and this is one, and to do a follow-up. So he did, and that's when he called Greta's mom, and that's when she referred him to Greta's auntie. And that's when auntie told him that it's not like she's just sleeping over, it's more like she's staying there. And that's when Riley was like, I gotta go, I gotta get to math class, I think there's a review. And Sam was like, yeah, that's true, but I think there's something more going on here that you're not telling me about. And Riley was like, no, I gotta get to math class. Riley was livid. She goes up to Greta and she's like, why would your auntie tell him that I'm staying with y'all? Like, just coming for her. And Greta was like, why are you coming for me? And I'm like, yeah, I agree. Like, don't be coming at her like that. Even though I'm Team Riley all the way, you need to calm down, girl. I know you're going through some things, but this is not Greta's fault. Greta was like, I haven't talked to my auntie since this morning when we were waiting for you. Remember, you didn't tell us that you were going to go to your house and get some things. We were waiting for you. Rude. And you over here coming at me again today, rude, within a few hours. Girl. Greta is genuinely trying to figure out what's wrong with her, trying to help her, and Riley is just not having it. She was like, what the F is wrong with you? And Greta said, I don't understand. My aunt gets you a job. She lets you live with us, and you're mad because she won't lie for you. She told you to let everybody know and it'll be cool. Then Riley goes, so you're freaking out at me again for nothing. Because I think I was pretty cool with that whole Luz thing. And I almost passed out. I wanted to shake her. Because, Greta was talking to Luz and Riley hooked up with Luz, but Greta doesn't know. This is a whole mess. So Riley left. She packed up her stuff and went to go sleep over at Nathan's house for a while. So Naomi, Nathan's twin sister, had her wisdom teeth pulled out and she's high off them drugs. So they're laughing at her, making fun of her, having her think that a tsunami is coming while they're recording her. And so since she's so high, her boyfriend came over, which is her best friend's Delilah boyfriend too. They're in a whole three-way situation. She let him know that Delilah is the Panda Express girl. The rumor that's going around school, it's her. She did have a baby in the mall. And he was shook. And Riley and Nathan was like, no, this isn't true. And then they're like, okay, well, just don't tell nobody. So she let it slip. It's going to be a whole bunch of drama about that. So it's dinner time now. And Nathan, Naomi, and their parents are having an argument about dating. And then Naomi, still high off them drugs, let it slip that Nathan and Chester are not going to the dance together, and his mom's like, why not? And Nathan's like, he broke up with me, which we all know that this was a fake relationship anyway. The mom didn't know. Nathan was just trying to get back at his mom because she doesn't agree with the whole gay thing. All these arguments triggered Riley and gave her an anxiety attack. She was like, I'll be right back. She went outside, started holding on to the grass for dear life. She was grabbing on it and she was laying on it. And then that's when the mom came out, Megan. She asked her if she was okay, and Riley said, I don't know. And that's when she was like, when I talked to your mom, she told me a little about what was going on about your dad moving to Reno with his girlfriend. So we're finding out about the whole Reno thing right now. So she's letting Riley know that she knows that her dad wants her to go with them to Reno. And then that's when Riley's like, did she tell you that my dad doesn't think that she can take care of me? She said yes. And Riley said, that's not true. She wants me to go with him. So we're finding out that when Riley asked her in the beginning, what did she think about Reno? This is when we are finding out her mom's answer, which was she wants her to go with her dad. And this is really taking a toll on Riley. So Megan was just like, do you ever have this feeling of that you're looking at yourself from the outside in? It's because everyone has anxiety, but some people have it worse. Even though Megan is highly annoying, I'm glad that Riley had her at that time. And to end the episode on a little bit of a more happier note, Chester finally replied to Riley because Riley was worried about him this whole episode. She was blowing him up with no answer, and we found out that Chester lost his phone. I love their friendship. The hug that she gave him made me smile so hard. I'm so happy they have each other. Then we just see them taking a drive together in the car. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode down in the comments. And now we're going to move on to episode 15. And this was something else. So it's Valentine's Day, the night of the winter formal, and we see Beau and Chester out on a date in one of those rage rooms where you break everything. Then we see Beau and Chester in the car. They get on FaceTime with Riley and Nathan. They're asking them, are they coming to the pre-party for the winter formal, and they said no. And everybody got on the FaceTime after that, Ariana and Greta. And that's when we see Riley tell Greta that she looks good. She's like, wow, you look good. But there was no reply. And that's important to say because we're going to get to that later. And here is where I'm finding out that Bo is crazy. They're on their date at this like restaurant thing, and Chester's in the bathroom. And when Chester comes out of the bathroom, Bo asked him how was the bathroom, and I'm like, how was the bathroom? And Chester even looked at him a little weird, but he was like, good, you know, with a smile. Then as they're talking, they're like, let's just be honest with each other about everything. And then Chester's like, okay, go, you know, ask me some questions. And then that's when Bo was like, do you think I'm basic? And Chester's like, I think you're absolutely adorable right now. And he was like, the way I dress, do you think I dress basic? And Chester's like, compared to me, I think everyone dresses basic. And Bo's like, okay, that's fair. So Bo's like, you know what? Let's go to the pre-party. So they go. But before they go in, Bo's like, does Nathan know I'm coming? And Chester's like, well, of course he knows that if I'm coming, you're coming. And then Bo's like, but does he know, like, specifically? Like, did you tell him specifically? So that's when Chester calls him up. And he's like, is it okay if Bo comes? And Nathan's like, yeah, of course. And making it very clear in front of Bo that they're just friends and that they love each other only as friends. Because, you know, Chester and Nathan was fake dating because of Nathan's mom, right? So they walk in the party, and Chester and Bo sees Nathan's mom, and Chester's like, hi, you know, how are you? And Megan's like, what in the world? Because she knows that Chester dated her son. And she's like, the more the merrier, all fake. And Chester's like, oh my God, I love the backdrop. And Megan's like, well, that shows the difference between me and my husband's taste, and walks away with an attitude. She had a whole thing this episode about this backdrop. Girl was tripping. Then we see Ariana telling Chester and Greta that Naomi let it slip while she was high on drugs, that Delilah gave birth in the mall, and that she's still mad that they ditched her for a guy, and that she's going to let them know that she's mad about this. But tonight's not the night, but she will let them know. And everybody is going to be in shambles in the season finale. And Ariana, even though I don't like her, is going to be sitting back watching it, enjoying it. Nathan was a little stressed at the party, but Chester was saying, you know, I'm giving you a pretend hug right now because they shouldn't hug in front of everybody right now with the whole fake ex relationship. And he was like, you know, I'm there for you. And then who comes walking up seeing this? Insecure Bo. Chester asked Bo what's wrong because he's thinking that Nathan's mom said something to him. And Bo's like, I'm fine, but I don't think that she knows that the whole thing was made up, the whole relationship between Chester and Nathan. And Chester's like, well, yeah, I'm sure he just told her we broke up. He didn't tell her it was fake. And Bo's like, because she was like, kind of, what the F are you doing here? And Chester's like, oh, like, I'm sorry. Then Bo, after that, started acting weird and quiet. Chester's like, are we okay? Are we good? And he wouldn't answer him. Then we see Riley trying to fix Nathan's dad's camera, Mark. And he's like, you know, Nathan's a really good kid. Thank you for being his friend and being there for him. And Riley's like, if it wasn't for him, I'd be living in a ditch right now. Then Mark goes on to tell her, you never really showed your whole self to your family. But I know that's what it is to be a teenager. But sometimes I just want to be like, hey, I want to know the other parts of you too. I really like Mark. He seems to be understanding and open-minded, unlike his wife, Megan. And because Riley doesn't have this with her family, like her mom and her dad, I know this is kind of like a little touchy for her. She's feeling a certain kind of way. I know that she wishes that she was closer to her parents, even though she keeps saying that she hates her parents. She really doesn't. Then we see Mark going around the party taking pictures of everybody. And then this is when we see Nathan and Riley talking, and they had just gotten off of FaceTime because, you know, this show likes to do things in different perspectives. It gives you a different kind of angle and all that. So they had just gotten off of FaceTime, and we see her ask Nathan, do you think that Greta heard me when I told her that she looked great? And Nathan was like, I don't know. And she was like, she's probably still mad at me because I was a jerk to her last week. And we see her right after that texting her saying, I have something to ask you when you get here. And then we see the little bubble thing in the text, but Greta didn't say anything. She left her on red. Then Riley is talking to Naomi, and Naomi was like, was it wrong for me to tell Cooper about Delilah? And she's like, yeah, it was. And she was like, but I was on drugs, so it was intentional. So it doesn't even make sense for me to tell her. She was trying to make it seem like everything was okay because she was on drugs and she didn't do it on purpose. And then she gave Riley an edible. She was, kind of high off that edible. Not really too high, but she was feeling it. And then right after that, we found out that her dad showed up at the party talking about he was invited. And she was like, no, you're not coming up in here. You're not invited. This triggered her to making her drink. She made Nathan drink with her, telling him that he's lucky to have the dad that he does because hers is an a-hole, and even though you hate your parents so much, you still end up being like them. And he's like, no, you don't. And he was like, the night that Greta freaked out on me, right after that, I went and hooked up with Luce. He got mad and was like, why didn't you tell me? And she was like, I'm telling you now. You mad at me because I didn't tell you sooner? So she storms off and she ends up talking to his mom. And his mom was basically like, I don't want to see my son heartbroken. I can't believe Chester is here with another boy after he broke up with my son and all that. And she could tell by the look on Riley's face that something was up, right? So she was basically like, as a mom, you can always tell when something's wrong, but you don't know exactly what's wrong. And so basically she got it out of Riley that the whole Nathan and Chester thing was made up. Riley didn't tell her anything, but just by the look of her face, she found it out, and she was livid. Right after that, Nathan comes running up to Riley, apologizing, saying that I would never judge you. You never judged me. I'm sorry. Then we hear Megan in the background saying, let's take this picture. So they all get in front of this picture, this backdrop that she hates. Then we see Cooper telling Delilah, there's something I kind of know that I kind of have to tell you. And then Naomi looks up like scared because she's the one that told him the secret about her being pregnant. Then we hear Mark and Megan in the background, and instead of them saying 1, 2, 3 like normal people, they said L'Amour is in the air, and they snapped the picture, and this is the picture right here. We see everybody in their different conversations of what's going on, about when Chester was asking Bo, are they okay? And he got no answer. The whole Cooper and Delilah and Naomi situation. And then we see Riley looking at Greta. It was just a whole mess. And Nathan over here not knowing that Riley spilled the beans to his mom without her actually talking. A whole mess. So I cannot wait until the next episode. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Let me know which episode was your favorite, 14 or 15. Do y'all want Riley to be happy too and just live her best life because these writers out here won't let her do it? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.